everyone! It's me, Jillian and Robles. And kung nanood kayo ng intro ko, malamang alam niyo na kung nasan ako. Yes? Pero bago ang lahat, nandito tayo sa Batangas State University, Rosario Campus. Malamang magtataka kayo kung bakit ako nandito. Tama? So, nandito ako ngayon kasi may aalamin tayo. So, as a BEd student, alam niyo ba na bawat tinuturo natin ay nakasulat sa curriculum at yun ang aalamin natin. Did you know that there are different types of curriculum and not just that, we also have different elements of that curriculum. So let's go! So nandito tayo sa BSU Rosario Campus para mag-interview ng ilan sa mga estudyante from College of Education. So hello everyone, it's me again. It's currently 8 in the morning and naghahadapan tayo na pwede nating ma-interview for our vlog. Good morning po. Hello. Ano po pangalan nila? Angela. Oh, Miss Angela. Saan po ano nyo? Ano po section nyo? From department kayo? From College of Teacher Education. Bachelor of Elementary Education. Ayun, ay sakto. Kasi naghahanap kami ng pwede namin na-interview about curriculum. Napag-aralan nyo po bang different types of curriculum? Yes po. Kung ganun, madali namin kayo na-interview. Pwede ko po ba kayo na-interview? Okay lang. So, Ate Angela, ano bang mga curriculum yung sa tingin mo na nagagamit at nai-implement dito sa BSU Rosario?
Madami naman akong napapansin na ginagamit na curriculum dito sa BSU Rosario Campus. But isa sa pinaka napansin ko is the recommended curriculum. Isa sa mga types ng curriculum. So, before that, what is the recommended curriculum? Recommended curriculum is almost all curricula that found in the school. Take note. It is almost all, not all. So, last academic year, we experienced to creating a lesson plan for our teaching demonstration in Filipino. And while we creating it, we aligned it to the current curriculum that elementary teachers used. So, when it was guided by the Matatag curriculum that is an example of recommended curriculum implemented in the Philippines. Also, the syllabus that we use is also an example of this curriculum. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, it's me again. So, maghahanap ulit tayo ng may interview. Nakapag-interview na tayo na siya sa one down. Ito okay. Busy mo. Lalo na kung nakikita, pwede natin mag-interview. Hi mga ate! Hello po. So, pwede ko ba kayo interview? Yes po. So, bago ang lahat, magpakilala muna kayo sa aking vlog.
Hi, I'm Sarah Labadines po from Bachelor of Elementary Education.
And ako naman po si Alexia Mendoza from Bachelor Elementary Education. So, girls, sa tingin nyo, ano mga curriculum yung napapansin nyo na ini-implement at nagagamit dito sa BSU Rosario?
For me po, lahat naman po ng curriculum is na-a-apply dito. Meron lamang po akong 3 curriculum na babanggitin, which is written curriculum, thought curriculum, and then curriculum. Una, ano nga ba ang written curriculum? This curriculum includes documents based on the recommended curriculums like syllabi, module, books, and lesson plan. Dito, nakikita ko is ang mga prof is dinidiscuss namin kung ano ang syllabus at kung ano ang nakapaloob dito. Like, yung mga lessons namin or yung dapat namin pag-aralan. Nang sa gayon is para masigurado namin na magkakaroon kami ng mas marami pang knowledge.
In thought curriculum, it is how teacher actually deliver the lesson to the learner. Like for example, with the BEd students have teaching demo. Here, we create instructional materials so that children can easily understand the lesson.
Pangatlo naman is ang learn curriculum, na kung saan dito is nagkakaroon na ng positive outcomes sa mga bata. Like for examples, pag nagkakaroon tayo ng groupings, is nai-apply na nila kung ano ang kanilang natutunan.
While as curriculum naman po, it is the evaluation of what has been taught in our class. So, example po nito is kapag po nagtitake kami ng mga quizzes, exams, or even po sa recitation, dito po is malalaman kung ano po ba talaga mga natutunan namin na itinuro po ng ating mga teachers.
Student curriculum. It is not directly planned,
but it has a big effect or impact on the learner's behavior po. For example po is yung mga teaching demo namin. Sa teaching demo po namin, dito po is nabibuild po yung confidence namin. And also po, kapag po may mga group activities po, nagde-develop po yung aming patience and the teamwork. Dito po sa Hidden Curriculum, hindi lang po ito tungkol sa mga lessons, sa mga knowledge, but it's also about po sa mga behavior po. So, supported curriculum. Supported curriculum is a support materials that teachers need to make learning and teaching meaningful. So, we apply supported curriculum when we use facilities and materials to make our learning easier. As a college students, we use books and libraries for our research, whiteboard and television naman po for our discussion. So, malaking tulong po ang supported curriculum para mas madaling maintindihan natin ang mga tinuturo ng mga teachers natin. And also, mas mahihirapan po tayo kung wala po tayong supported curriculum.
So now that we're done with knowing different types of curriculum, we'll move on to our next objective, that is knowing the different elements of it. So to answer those questions, we have two students here that we will interview later on. Let's go! Hi! Pwede ba kayo interview? Ako. Yun? Ay, ate, parang familiar ka. Okay. Pwede ba kayo interview? Simple lang naman yung tanong. Kasi kanina debatin mo to sila kung ano yung different types of curriculum. Ngayon naman is gusto kong malaman kung alam niyo na yung different elements of curriculum. Yan, may idea daw sila, kaya alam natin.
So, we have 4 elements in the curriculum. The first one is the curriculum intent. What is the curriculum intent? Curriculum intent is the direction of the curriculum developers wish to take as a result of participating in a curriculum. It has 3 types: the aim, the goal, and the objectives. I experienced this one when I was creating a lesson plan in my teaching demonstration in Filipino. For that plan, I had to make or create a clear objectives that the learners aim to achieve through that content. Content is another curriculum element that refers to the lesson or the topic that align with the curriculum intent. When I was creating my lesson plan in my teaching demonstration in Filipino, I need to prepare a lesson or topic that I will tackle that day. So, that lesson is guided by the curriculum, and this is the Matatag curriculum. Also, the activities I prepare that day is also aligned with the lesson I will tackle.
So, what is learning experiences? Learning experiences is instructional strategies that are useful for implementation of the curriculum. So, my example here is my first demo last year. So, I decided to make an instructional materials to catch the attention of the student, and also including the PPT and the other traditional way of teaching, which is telling some stories using the big books and the activities in the Manila paper. So the last one is evaluation. It includes the different ways and tools used for evaluating whether not the curriculum intent were realized. So my example here is when I was giving the learner quick quiz to identify if the students understood the lesson that I discussed. This brief note state activities function as formative assessment because they let me and the student identify areas of comprehension and strength without putting undue pressure on any of them.
So now that we're done knowing the different types of curriculum and the different elements of curriculum, let's move on to our reflection. So there are 3 questions that we will be answered later. We will interview 4 students to answer this question, and I will also give my own reflection about this matter. So the first is, which curriculum foundation are clearly manifested in our major?
As a Bachelor of Elementary Education student, I believe that essentialism and elective conception is clearly manifested in my major. Why? Because essentialism promoting a learning growth of the learners.
they need to learn or aware or knowledgeable enough sa mga basic and essential skills sa buhay. So, when they aware and knowledgeable sa mga basic and essential skills na iyon is pwedeng makahelp iyon sa future nila and sa halimbawa sa may mga problem na nakakasalubong nila. And also, I believe na lahat ng natutunan natin is nagmula sa mga learnings and lesson na nakuha natin nung nasa elementary tayo. And also, aligned with that is the elective conception. Elective conception combines with the cognitive processes and humanistic conception. I believe that learners in elementary education is kailangan ma-develop yung cognitive skills nila para ma-solve yung mga problem nila in the future.
For me, the curriculum foundations that manifested in our major is the essentialism because it is important para po matutunan ng mga bata ang mga fundamental subjects like reading, writing, and mga basic math. Nakakatulong po ito kasi dito po is parang mas magiging prepared and aware sila para pag dumating sila or tumungtong na sila sa higher year or sa higher education. And ang napili ko naman po sa curriculum conception ay cognitive processes conception kasi it focuses on developing students' thinking and understanding skills. It is important to the students to think critically and apply what they have learned in their lives.
So for me, the curriculum foundation that are really manifested in our major is, for me, is reconstructionism. Because tayong teacher, kailangan natin maging role model sa mga bata para mamulat sila sa mga issue na nangyayari ngayon. Katulad na nga lamang ng corruption, dapat nating mabago yun at sila ang magiging serve na kung gusto nila maging leader, ay maaari nilang mabago ang society.
So, for me, is essentialism dahil nakapaloob dito ang PRs which means reading, writing, and arithmetic. So, kapag alam nila ito, is nakakatulong sa kanila para pagdating nila sa higher education. Next naman is academic rationalist na kung saan is para organize ang kanilang mga knowledge dahil naniniwala ako na kapag ang tinuturo ng teacher sa kanila is na-absorb agad nila or mas madaling nilang naiintindihan.
So I think the most manifested curriculum foundation as a BEd student is perennialism because as a future educator, we will handle young children in the future, and for that we need to lecture them and teach them the most basic things first, so that they will have the key or the basic knowledge that they need in the future. It will also awaken their mind and this will make them more rational. Rational is they will be capable of thinking, maybe critically, or even though the most basic one is also a kind of thinking.
For me, one of the issues in the Philippine curriculum is lack of resources because some of schools don't have enough classrooms, books, chairs, or technology, especially in the rural areas. So some students are sharing one textbooks and also they don't have access for the internet, the computers. So that's why nagiging mahirap po sa kanila yung pagkatuto dahil nga po sa kakulangan ng mga gamit. For me, ang possible solution is sa tulong po ng mga government. So sana po sa pagbabago po ng mga curriculum nila is baguhin din nila yung mga facilities, mga resources para naman po mas maging effective po ang pagtuturo at pagkatuto ng mga bata.
So the issue that I encountered in the Philippine curriculum is the Filipino student poorly perform reading with comprehension. So the possible solution here ay if you're giving a chance na maggawa ng program, at tulad na nga yung ginawa namin sa SIWAS, we decided to do reading program. Doon tinuturoan namin yung mga bata and we will provide some question if naintindihan pa talaga nila yung kanilang pinasa. So So, pagkatapos nun, pag nakita namin hindi masyado naintindihan ng bata yung kanilang mga binabasa, ay mas pinagtututuhan namin and para mas mahasa sila at masagot nila ang mga katanungan aming tatanungin sa sunod na kanilang babasahing kwento.
So for me, I think one of the key issues in the Philippine curriculum is the time allotment for each subject. Because yes, they could decongested the subject that from 7 subject to 5 subject. But the time has reduced. Parang nabawasan yung mga oras. The from 1 hour is naging 45 minutes na lang. So the question rises na kung effective paano magiging effective yung decongested na mga subject if the time is parang kulang ng oras. So, for us, the possible solution for this is i-restore yung oras na kinakailangan, yung 1 hour na per subject. Kasi, mas matutuunan ng pansin ng mga bata and matututo yung mga bata if balik sa 1 hour yung oras kada subject.
So that's it for today. I hope you learned a lot from our video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe my YouTube channel. Bye!
Yay!